Retail behemoths collapsing. These well-known companies have been staples in people's lives for many years, selling everything from groceries to clothing to home decor. However, the harsh truth is already striking in the year 2025. Famous companies are on the verge of bankruptcy due to mounting debt, falling revenues, and fierce competition. Many well-known businesses, from national chains to mom-and-pop shops, are going out of business, laying off thousands of workers and disappearing from town. If you've ever shopped at these businesses, you could be missing out on your final opportunity to do so before they close their doors for good. Let's take a look at the 15 largest American retail businesses that might not make it through the next year. 1. Beloved discount store. Big Lots facing difficult times. For many, Big Lots may be reaching a turning point or even the end of an era. Big Lots has long been a beloved local establishment, celebrated for its reasonably priced furniture, household products, and seasonal decor. In reality, though, the business is in the midst of financial turmoil, which may lead to its demise. Big Lots same-store sales plummeted 14.6% in the previous year, indicating a significant decline in foot traffic. Worse yet, their overall liabilities have increased to $2.6 billion, and they anticipate losses of more than $250 million in 2024. Big Lots staple items are seeing fewer spending as consumers cut back on non-essentials due to inflation. What effect? Store closures have begun, and the corporation intends to close as many as 315 locations across the country, nearly a third of its total. If you're a dedicated customer, this may be the end for Big Lots in your area. Problems, however, do not cease at that point. Online shopping has grown so rapidly that Big Lots is having trouble keeping up. Its online sales make up less than 5% of its overall income, which is a huge disadvantage when competing with retail giants like Walmart and Amazon. Worst still, analysts anticipate that the firm would file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the first half of 2025. This would enable it to reorganize its obligations, but it will come at a high price: more shop closures and the dismissal of 22,000 workers. The fate of thousands of employees and the vital role these stores provide in communities are at stake, not to mention the loss of a well-known retail brand. Think about how vulnerable retail is in an uncertain economy if Big Lots has ever been a part of your shopping routine. 2. An emerging creative sanctuary. Joann Fabrics. Joann has been an inspiration center for generations, serving as more than simply a fabric and hobby business. Joann knows what it's like to work on home improvement projects, manage a small business, or provide thoughtful presents. But now this once-loved shop is about to close its doors forever. In 2024, Joann's revenue plummeted 9.4% as her debt skyrocketed above $1 billion. The pandemic's effects on the company's finances, including supply chain interruptions and changing customer habits, are still weighing heavily on the firm. The inflation rate is cutting into people's disposable income, and the handicraft boom that happened during lockdowns is starting to fade. The decline in do-it-yourself activity is having a significant impact on Joann. This is devastating news for everyone who has ever shopped for craft items or fabric at Joann. People who depend on it for their artistic inspiration may soon see this beloved place go, and its fate is anyone's guess. Those that hold Joann in high regard as the core of crafts are very worried about the difficulties it is facing. Fabrics, sewing materials, and hobby kits that used to sell like hotcakes are seeing a decline in sales. As a result of this slump, Joann is thinking of declaring for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which may cause 30% of its almost 800 stores throughout the country to close. You may have to say farewell to your neighborhood store if you depend on Joann for quilting projects, do-it-yourself house repairs, or even holiday decorations. There is a lot of rivalry. Retail behemoths like Walmart and Target provide same goods at reduced rates, while online shopping behemoths like Amazon rule due to the ease and speed of their services. Investing in digital updates or shop renovations has become increasingly difficult for Joann due to a 25% drop in operational profits in the past fiscal year. Here, livelihoods are at stake, not only statistics. Nearly 22,000 individuals call this creative center home, and many have made a lifelong commitment to supporting their communities via it. If Joann goes out of business, it will be more than just a store. It will be the end of an era where dreams were realized, ideas were nurtured, and memories were built. Maybe now is the moment to express your support for Joann before it's too late, if she has ever been a part of your crafting path. 3. A retail icon in declining rank, J.C. Penney. The next several months will be crucial in deciding the destiny of J.C. Penney, which was once a staple of American shopping. A lot of you probably have fond recollections of back-to-school clothes, family outings, and long holiday shopping sprees that took place at this establishment. In spite of all these memorable occasions, J.C. Penney has been in a downward spiral for the past 10 years. Although the company's comeback has been bumpy, it did emerge from bankruptcy in 2020. A 7.8% decline in same-store sales for J.C. Penney in 2024 indicates that fewer customers are visiting the department store. At the same time, the company is struggling to keep up with the mounting interest payments on its more than $4.1 billion in debt. The footprint of J.C. Penney is rapidly decreasing. Its high was over 1,100 stores, but it has shuttered more than 175 stores in the past few years, reducing it to only 650 outlets. If you're still shopping at J.C. Penney for bargain apparel, housewares, and cosmetics, you should know that your neighborhood store has no guarantee of being open for another year. The rivalry is unrelenting. Amazon and Target attract middle-class consumers. Upmarket labels attract those with more disposable money, while bargain retailers like TJ Maxx and Ross attract those on a tighter budget. Digital improvements and retail renovations have mostly been unsuccessful attempts at modernization. Compared to rivals like Macy's, which has significantly increased its e-commerce operations, online sales contributed a pitiful 15% of revenue in 2024. Pay attention to the individuals involved, not the statistics. 50,000 people are still employed by J.C. Penney, and many of them are facing uncertainty while the corporation suggests a strategy to turn things around. On the other hand, experts are worried that it could come too late. If J.C. Penney can't perform a miracle, it will symbolize the demise of an American institution that has provided for many families throughout the years, rather than the demise of simply another business. 4. Near the edge of luxury, Neiman Marcus. The name, Neiman Marcus, has always been associated with posh upscale retail. Imagine posh boutiques decked up in designer apparel, glittering jewelry, and high-end accessories, the pinnacle of dream shopping. This legendary store may soon be forced to close its doors permanently due to its severe financial woes, which belie its ostentatiously luxurious exterior. Despite a decreased debt load upon its 2020 bankruptcy filing, Neiman Marcus has faced escalating troubles ever since. Revenue fell 12% in 2024, showing that even the well-off are becoming cautious in the face of economic uncertainty. With interest rates on the rise, the company's already heavy debt load of over $1 billion is becoming much heavier. The sluggish response of Neiman Marcus to the rise of online shopping is one of the company's main problems. Online shopping and tailored digital experiences have been actively invested in by Nordstrom and Saks Fifth Avenue, while Neiman Marcus has lagged behind. In today's luxury market, the fact that internet sales only contribute 30% to overall income is disheartening. This may appear insignificant to individuals who value the in-store experience. However, this is a major drawback in a world where innovation and ease of use are the main factors that influence client loyalty. The business has reduced its reach to 36 sites nationally after closing numerous outlets. Its famous flagship shop in Dallas, Texas, is feeling the pinch of falling sales and increasing overhead expenses, much like the rest of the company. There may be additional closures soon, according to sources close to the matter. Some of Neiman Marcus's most devoted customers have voiced their displeasure that the company has abandoned the luxury feel and exclusivity that were once its hallmarks. This emblem of opulence and ambition may become oblivion unless there is a tremendous shift in thinking or a new development. Now is the moment to express your support for Neiman Marcus, especially if you have bought there for a particular occasion or spent a significant amount on something unforgettable. If Neiman Marcus were to go out of business, it would be the end of an era in luxury shopping. 5. Problems with the law and a dying lifeline for Rite Aid. The once reliable Rite Aid, a local drugstore for all your needs, is now in a precarious financial position. The corporation is allegedly involved in the opioid epidemic, which has wrecked many lives and communities throughout America. In addition to its increasing $3.3 billion in debt, it is facing over $1 billion in litigation related to this problem. In addition to draining Rite Aid's financial resources, these cases have ruined the company's brand and caused many devoted consumers to stop shopping there. The fact that it can't keep up with rivals like Walgreens and CVS just makes things worse. Rite Aid has fallen behind in the fast-paced market because it has failed to innovate, in contrast to its rivals who have jumped on the bandwagon of walk-in clinics, telehealth services, and updated digital platforms. Rite Aid has stated its intention to shutter roughly 400 underperforming shops by 2024, which would leave many neighborhoods without access to a pharmacy. Those of you who normally get all of your medicine at Rite Aid will have to endure longer commutes and less convenient alternatives. There is a human cost to this narrative, as well as a story about disappearing shops. As a result of the company's reorganization, many of Rite Aid's approximately 45,000 employees are facing unclear employment prospects. For these workers, Rite Aid has meant more than simply a paycheck. It has provided a foundation for their lives. Think about how Rite Aid has influenced your life if you've ever needed their services. If things don't change drastically, this drugstore chain could join the long list of businesses that have gone out of business. 6th sneaker industry. Loser. Foot Locker. Sneakerheads and sportswear lovers have long made Foot Locker their destination of choice. Many of you may be reminded of the long lines you endured to get restricted drops, or of the times you waited to upgrade your gear for the upcoming major game. Foot Locker, with its famous shops in American malls, is, however, having trouble keeping up with the industry's quick rate of change. With a net loss of more than $35 million in the most recent quarter, Foot Locker announced a precipitous 10% decline in sales year over year in 2024. The continued decline in foot traffic to malls, which host several Foot Locker locations, poses a challenge to the retailer's ability to stay afloat. The fact that 65% of Foot Locker's stock comes from Nike, which has turned its attention to selling directly to consumers, is only adding insult to injury. With fewer unique goods available through wholesale collaborations, like the one with Foot Locker, Nike has made it difficult for the shop to attract dedicated shoe fans. Due to the ease and low prices offered by e-commerce behemoths like Amazon and companies like Adidas, Foot Locker has seen its market share reduced even more. Online sales still only make up 20% of Foot Locker's overall income, even though the company has been trying to increase it. This is in stark contrast to competitors that have made an effort to focus on online sales exclusively. In response to these difficulties, Foot Locker has stated its intention to shutter 400 underperforming shops by 2026, with a number of these locations located in failing shopping centers. The decision will result in the loss of jobs for thousands of people out of the company's 30,000-strong staff and the closure of a beloved shoe shop for entire towns. This may be your final opportunity to get a pair of sneakers from your neighborhood Foot Locker shop, if you're a fan. The closure of Foot Locker would mean more than the loss of a single retail outlet. It would be the end of a way of life for innumerable people who still like going shoe shopping in person, the excitement of discovering a new pair, and the thrill of making a purchase. 7. Financial disarray and future uncertainty at the Container Store. Beloved for a long time for its modern storage solutions, the Container Store is fighting for survival in a retail industry where megastores rule. Many of you have found it to be a refuge where you may discover the ideal solution to your disorganized kitchens or closets. The firm is facing significant financial difficulties, though, and its gleaming shelves belie that. The Container Store's quarterly sales dropped by an astounding 20% in 2024, and the company's yearly revenues fell below $900 million, marking a precipitous decline from its recent peak. Another indicator of the financial difficulty the firm is experiencing is the fact that it lost more than $25 million in its most recent fiscal quarter. The Container Store is, unfortunately, falling behind in a sector where companies like Amazon, Walmart, and Target have established strong footholds. Clients find it difficult to rationalize the premium pricing of the Container Store's items in light of these giants' more reasonably priced, comparable storage options. The high-priced Alpha closet systems are a major source of income for the Container Store, which has already been struggling. However, with household budgets being squeezed by inflation, fewer homeowners are eager to shell out cash for upscale organizational solutions. This tendency has been exacerbated by the recent rise in interest rates and general economic instability. However, when compared to rivals who have perfected the online shopping experience, its e-commerce operations, which make up less than 30% of overall sales, fall well short. A precipitous drop in customer traffic in prime locations is untenable for a business that depends substantially on foot traffic. The Container Store has begun shutting down failing stores and intends to open even more in the near future as a result. This means layoffs and future uncertainty for its 5,000 workers. Also, the company's long-term sustainability has come into doubt due to the stock's precipitous decline, which has seen a value loss of more than 60% in the last year. It might be worth it to express your support for the Container Store if they have been a reliable partner in your home organization journey. In the absence of a dramatic change in fortunes, this legendary store may soon become one of many names wiped out by shifting customer tastes and financial constraints. 8. Express. Falling out of favor in the fashion industry. Once a thriving mainstay of the American fashion retail industry, Express is now hardly recognizable. It was the place many of you went to get fashionable work clothes, contemporary ensembles, and bold jewelry. The situation is very different now. Express said that same-store sales fell 6% in 2024, leading to total revenue falling to little over $1.6 billion, far lower than its peak. It is clear that the corporation is struggling to turn a profit again because its net losses surpassed $200 million. The ugly reality? In a market that is getting more and more saturated, Express has not been able to maintain its relevance. The business has been overtaken by fast fashion behemoths like Zara, H&M, and Shein, who provide fashionable, reasonably priced apparel at breakneck speeds. Express has had its market share eroded by online competitors. The company's e-commerce sales, which make up just 30% of overall revenue, are well behind the leaders in the sector when it comes to the digital scene. Express has made matters worse by depending on brick-and-mortar stores, which are often found in faltering malls. The brand is now stuck with an unsustainable business strategy due to falling foot traffic and excessive leasing expenses. As a result, the corporation has shut down dozens of stores and intends to eliminate many more in 2025, denying convenient shopping choices to loyal customers. There will be 9,000 job losses as a result of these closures, and their futures are cloudy at best. To make matters worse, Express's stock price has fallen by more than 70% in the last year, wiping off a lot of value for shareholders and casting doubt on the company's capacity to bounce back. Before this renowned company goes the way of the dodo bird, now may be a good opportunity to visit your neighborhood store or purchase online if Express is a part of your shopping memories. 9. Fossil. Frustrated with the market's constant evolution. The once icon of inexpensive fashion and classic accessories, Fossil, is currently experiencing an existential crisis. For a lot of you, Fossil may have been the go-to spot for affordable, stylish accessories like watches, bags, and wallets. However, the business is now having trouble keeping up with the ever-changing industry. From its peak, when it regularly reached $3 billion in sales, Fossil saw a precipitous fall, reporting a 12% loss in sales in 2024 and total yearly revenue down to $1.7 billion. Worse yet, Fossil reported net losses of more than $90 million, which has led many to question the company's capacity to weather financial storms in the future. The proliferation of smartwatches and other wearable technologies is the main reason Fossil is having trouble. In recent years, sales of Apple Watch have surpassed those of the whole Swiss watch industry, demonstrating the revolutionary impact of tech giants like Samsung and Apple on the wristwear market. In an effort to stay relevant, Fossil introduced a range of hybrid and smartwatches. However, these products had a negligible impact, contributing less than 20% of total sales. In today's technology-driven society, traditional timepieces, which are Fossil's mainstay, are becoming obsolete. Michael Kors and Kate Spade are two competitors who sell fashionable accessories. Their sales have eaten into Fossil's market share. In addition to everything else, Fossil's physical stores are having a hard time keeping up with the demand from consumers who prefer direct-to-consumer or online purchasing. The corporation has already stated its intention to shrink its retail footprint, and this year should see a quickening of the pace at which stores are shuttered. Layoffs are a real possibility for Fossil workers as the company tries to reorganize. Also at risk is the store that has been an integral part of the lives of the brand's devoted consumers for decades. Now is the moment to express your support for Fossil if they have ever been your go-to for classic gifts or fashionable accessories. This legendary brand could not have much more time unless something drastic changes. 10. Keeping its tail wagging. A challenge for Petco. For decades, Petco has been a trusted name for pet owners across America. However, the company is currently facing significant financial and operational challenges. Many of you have relied on it for all of your pet's needs, including food, grooming, and veterinary care. However, there is a firm fighting for survival in the increasingly competitive industry, hidden behind the aisles of cat treats and dog toys. Sales at Petco's same stores fell 4.5% in 2024, and the company's yearly revenue remained flat at little over $6 billion. Not only are flat sales numbers worrying, but Petco also has a $1.7 billion debt that is becoming more difficult to pay off, as interest rates climb and credit markets get tighter. Problems have arisen for the business as a result of its sluggish response to the ever-changing pet retail scene. The convenience-focused offerings of Chewy and Amazon, among others, have shook up the industry. These companies provide basics like pet food and prescriptions through subscription services, competitive pricing, and rapid delivery. Petco is struggling to maintain its relevance as Chewy alone controls nearly half of all sales of pet products made online. Despite Petco's best efforts, the company's internet sales still fall well short of the industry leaders at 20% of total sales. As a result of inflation and economic instability, Petco is facing even more pressure from pet owners who are choosing cheaper options over the high-quality items and services that generate profits for the firm. Petco has also been criticized for having prices that are higher than its competitors, which turns off customers who are looking to save money. The company's efforts to broaden its products, including as grooming services and in-store veterinary clinics, have not resulted in the significant increase in income that Petco requires to get back on its feet. The situation has become much worse due to operational inefficiencies and excessive fixed expenses. Numerous Petco locations are located in prime real estate markets around the country. These places have become costly burdens as foot traffic declines. After careful consideration, Petco has decided to shutter 75 underperforming locations in 2025. Rumor has it that the number might go higher if the company's financial situation doesn't improve. Layoffs and reorganization are becoming more probable, casting a shadow of doubt over the company's 27,000 workers. Now would be a good moment to express your support for Petco if you've relied on them for your pet's needs. This legendary pet supply store risks falling victim to the ever-shifting retail scene unless it does a dramatic U-turn. 11th. A household renown, Lowe's facing decline. The home improvement industry's longtime mainstay and bitter rival to Home Depot, Lowe's, is currently facing some tough times. When it comes to home improvement, professional contracting, and do-it-yourself tasks, many of you have relied on Lowe's. The company's survival is in jeopardy as it struggles to overcome financial and operational obstacles, despite its recognizable blue emblem. Annual revenues at Lowe's remained flat at over $92 billion in 2024, down from their high, while same-store sales fell 3.5%. At first look, this number might look good, but it hides problems like falling foot traffic, narrowing profit margins, and missed chances to adapt to a changing market. The decline in customer spending on home improvement projects is a major concern for Lowe's. Fewer homeowners are opting to engage in home improvements or renovations due to the high expenses of mortgages and household goods caused by rising inflation and interest rates. Because of its concentration on do-it-yourself (DIY) customers, Lowe's has been hammered especially hard by this recession. Meanwhile, Home Depot has surpassed Lowe's in terms of performance, because to its lower prices, more specialized services, and bulk supply possibilities, which appeal to professional contractors who have a penchant for large purchases. With more than 1,700 locations around the country, Lowe's operational footprint is enormous, compounding the company's problems. Due to the high expense of sustaining these failing sites, Lowe's operating margins are rather narrow. To tackle this, Lowe's has stated that it would be closing 50 underperforming shops in 2025. However, experts are concerned that this may not be sufficient to tackle the company's wider financial challenges. The 300,000 employees of the corporation will be left unsettled as a result of the closures and the loss of their jobs. When it comes to online shopping and delivery, Lowe's is light years behind industry leaders like Home Depot. Compared to other retail industries, Lowe's online sales performance is dismal, accounting for only 10% of total revenue. Stock shortages and unhappy customers are made worse by inefficient supply chains and outdated inventory management systems. A reflection of these difficulties is Lowe's stock performance. Over the last year, shares have fallen by more than 25%, causing investor confidence to plummet and the market value to vanish by billions. When these tendencies persist, some experts are beginning to doubt Lowe's capacity to stay in business in the long run. 12th. Stein Mart. Fighting for survival in an internet-rich environment. After going bankrupt and shuttering all of its physical locations in 2020, Stein Mart tried to rebrand itself as a digital-first company. Nevertheless, the desired resurgence has not been achieved with the method. The company's online sales plummeted 18% in 2024, resulting in a pitiful $220 million in yearly revenues, a far cry from the billions it made when it was at its pinnacle. The fact is that Stein Mart's change to an online-only business model has not attracted the interest of its formerly devoted clientele. People loved shopping at physical stores because of the treasure hunt mentality and the unique atmosphere, both of which are difficult to recreate online. On the other hand, rivals like as TJ Maxx and Marshalls have been successful by bolstering their online sales, while also keeping strong physical storefronts. Many customers have been disillusioned with Stein Mart because of its online-only policy. Online behemoths like Amazon and Overstock rule the home goods and discount marketplaces with aggressive pricing, wider product selections, and lightning-fast shipping. The brand just can't keep up. Stein Mart's financial situation is quite precarious. Much of the over $100 million in debt is a holdover from the company's bankruptcy reorganization, which it has attempted to reduce by streamlining operations and cutting expenses. Reinvestment in essential areas such as marketing, technological updates, and inventory enhancements is severely limited by its razor-thin profit margins. Customers are fleeing to rivals because of stock shortages, out-of-date products, and a failure to adapt to changing market trends. There has been catastrophic fallout. Less than 500 people remain from Stein Mart's former staff of over 10,000. These individuals mostly assist with the company's floundering online operations. Because of the total loss of investor faith, its stock is now worth pennies after being delisted from major exchanges following bankruptcy. Stein Mart could close its doors permanently by the end of 2025, according to analysts, unless they receive a large injection of cash and implement a daring new strategy. 13. The end is near for an industry behemoth, AMC Theaters. The future seems bleak for AMC Theaters, the once greatest movie chain and a staple of moviegoers' lives. Many of you have taken your families on date evenings or to see the latest movie at AMC. In reality, though, the corporation is collapsing under the pressure of mounting debt, falling ticket sales, and a rapidly changing entertainment industry. Rising interest rates have made it much more difficult for AMC to pay back its more than $4.5 billion in debt as of 2024. This already startling amount is making paying off the debt even more of a challenge. There was no long-term solution, not even the 2021 meme stock phenomena, which temporarily boosted its finances. The emergence of streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime Video has fundamentally disrupted AMC's financial model. The way people enjoy entertainment has been greatly impacted by these platforms. After reaching a record of $5.5 billion before the pandemic, AMC's yearly revenue fell by 9% in 2024, with profitability falling below $3.8 billion. Going to the movies has never been more popular, what with fewer people prepared to spend more for premium seats and the rise of streaming services that bring the latest films straight to people's homes. Studio experiments with shortened theatrical periods or complete échoual of theaters are adding insult to injury for AMC's already precarious economic model. Keeping over 600 sites, some of which aren't doing up to par, is expensive and adds another layer of difficulty. Some suburban and rural theaters have reported not filling even half of their seats during peak hours, a sign of how badly struck the industry is overall. In retaliation, AMC intends to shutter over 50 failing theaters in 2025, robbing several towns of their only remaining movie theater. These closures mean less work and more uncertainty for AMC's 35,000 workers. The failure of even AMC's diversification efforts is evident. There has been no recovery in attendance, despite the popularity of premium formats, like as IMAX and Dolby Cinema. 14. Kohl's. Caught in the middle of two worlds. During one of its most difficult periods in history, once popular retailer Kohl's is now offering more expensive clothes, home products, and seasonal items. A lot of you have made Kohl's your go-to place for everything from Christmas presents to everyday necessities to back-to-school shopping. Subsequent to its well-known stores, the firm is confronting formidable financial challenges, changing customer preferences, and an identity problem, all of which have rendered it susceptible to aggressive retail competition. Annual earnings fell below $18 billion in 2024, a considerable decline from its recent record of nearly $20 billion, and same-store sales fell 5.2%, marking Kohl's sixth consecutive quarter of falling revenue. As it fights to maintain its client base, the company's net income has dropped more than 50%, causing it to barely break even. Unfortunately, Kohl's is unable to thrive in either of these arenas because it is stuck between them. Competition from both low-priced and more conveniently located discounters like Walmart and Target, and more upscale specialty shops like Nordstrom and Macy's has caused the firm to fall behind. Even Kohl's has had trouble figuring out what it wants to be in the modern digital world. It trails behind rivals that have adopted online-first strategies, with e-commerce contributing just around 30% of overall revenue. Meanwhile, more and more customers are opting to buy online or at more affordable alternatives like TJ Maxx and Ross, which has contributed to a decline in foot traffic at Kohl's physical locations. The company's dependence on sales and discounts to boost revenue has cut into its profit margins and damaged the reputation of the brand among customers. Customers have been accustomed to waiting for large discounts instead of paying full price, which has created an unbreakable loop. The in-store beauty departments that Kohl's partnered with Sephora to build were an attempt at reinvention, but they haven't brought in the projected increase in customers or revenue. With the exception of Sephora, which generated some initial buzz, Kohl's main categories, including clothing and home goods, have been declining. The situation has been made worse by operational inefficiencies. There are more than 1,100 Kohl's shops around the country, and a lot of them are in areas where foot traffic is down or where rent is higher than usual. In spite of its best efforts, Kohl's has failed to announce any major store closures, which has resulted in an excessive cost structure. The firm will have a hard time maintaining profitability, according to analysts, unless it undergoes drastic restructuring, which may involve closing stores and laying off workers. The faith of Kohl's investors is likewise declining. The market value of the firm has been wiped out by a 40% decline in the stock price during the last year. Although activist investors demanded radical changes from Kohl's in 2023, the company is still under intense pressure to implement a turnaround strategy, the success of which is becoming progressively improbable. This persistent unpredictability is disturbing for the 100,000 people that depend on Kohl's for their livelihoods. The Body Shop, fighting for a spot in the beauty industry's dynamic evolution. The Body Shop has some tough realities on its plate, the most pressing of which is the fact that it is struggling to compete with direct-to-consumer companies and e-commerce behemoths in the cosmetics business. Market share has been effectively acquired by competitors such as Sephora, Ulta, and even more affordable retailers like Target, thanks to their wider product choices, faster shipping options, and powerful digital marketing techniques. In the meanwhile, the Body Shop's former dominion over the younger, more socially aware demographic has been surpassed by upstart companies like Glossier and Fenty Beauty. The Body Shop has failed to update its image and appeal to today's environmentally concerned consumers, despite its founding dedication to ethical sourcing and sustainability. Many of these buyers now think the company is out of touch with current beauty standards and has failed to evolve with the times. Physical locations, which were previously a strength for the Body Shop, are now a weakness. The firm is struggling with expensive operational expenses and falling foot traffic at more than 2,500 outlets globally, including hundreds in the United States. It has become more difficult to make a profit for many of these businesses due to the declining foot traffic in the malls where they are located. Many areas will be without a local shop as a result of the Body Shop's announcement that it will eliminate 30% of its underperforming stores by 2025. A lack of investment in digital transformation and operational inefficiencies have made it even more difficult for the Body Shop to compete in the thriving e-commerce sector. It lags far behind competitors in the sector that have used influencer marketing and social media to fuel growth, with online sales accounting for less than 25% of overall revenue. Customers who value variety and ease of use have been further turned off by the company's antiquated online shopping infrastructure and erratic product availability. The Body Shop's precarious situation has been exacerbated by Natura & Co., parent company of Avon and Aesop, who paid $1.1 billion to acquire the brand in 2017. While the acquisition had good intentions, it has unfortunately caused the Body Shop's debts to pile up and its recovery plans to fall flat. Some industry watchers have speculated that if the Body Shop's financial condition doesn't improve, parent firm Natura and Kirchen may look at selling or possibly closing the brand. The parent business has recorded substantial losses related to the brand. This unpredictability is quite disturbing for the Body Shop's 10,000 workers. Adding fuel to the fire of uncertainty about the company's future, many may lose their jobs when locations close and activities shrink.